Hey everybody, I'm Derek Mitchell, and I know it's been a while since I dropped a video, and trust me, I'm coming back with some new content for my YouTube channel and the blog as well. But right now, I just wanted to tell you about two positive experiences that I had over the past 2 weeks. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I learned. So it's two things that I learned. The first is that we have an impact on the world and people around us that we have no awareness or concept of. Right now, you are having an effect or an impact on somebody that you have no idea about, good or bad. The second is that it is possible to take a liability in your life and turn it into an asset. Now, the first situation took place when I went to go visit an old coworker on a job that I was at about 5 years ago. Now, I have not been back there since I left for 5 years ago. And when I went to go visit my, coworker, I ran into one of the people that actually interviewed me for that job, and I hadn't seen this guy in over 6 years maybe. Now, I was interviewed for that job and got that job in 2009, so a little bit over 7 years ago. And what surprised me is that he said that something that I told him in the interview had really made an impact on him and had always stuck with him from that day on. And he went on to quote me verbatim on what it was that I said on that day. Now at that point in time, I was much more sensitive about having a stutter and how people would react to it, especially on a job interview. So I would actually, at that time, I would spend more time working on how I would approach it and talk about her having a stutter than I would as far as selling the skills that I needed for that job. So I had I had practiced what I would say about having a stutter to a T, and it was a pretty good approach, obviously, because it made an impact. And so I was shocked that something that I said, which I honestly I forgot what it was, but I was shocked that something that I said made that kind of an impact. And what that taught me is that my words have power and can affect, influence, and impact others, and so do yours. And with that comes a responsibility to be thoughtful and careful about how we talk to and interact with others, because what we do and say in those interactions, it is important, and it does impact and affect the perspectives and the lives of other people. So the next lesson I learned as a result of a job interview that I had this past week. So I was contacted by a recruiter for project management position. And on the first conversation that I had with her, I was thinking how, when, or even if I would talk about my stutter. So in going through my work history and my resume, I eventually brought it up in reference to some job experience that I had. Now, I didn't go into any details about it, and she didn't ask any questions. So I thought, okay, great. I acknowledged it. She's cool with it, and we just moved on. So the next day, after she had talked to the references that I had given her, she sounded very excited, and actually even more excited than the previous day, which is good, because I expected to get some good recommendations, but I didn't think that it would cause that level of excitement. Well, it turns out that the references that I'd given her not only talked about the professional experience that I had, but went further and talked about some other things that I'm involved in totally outside of my job. And that is my involvement in Toastmasters, my blog, my videos on YouTube, and just in general how I've handled the adversity and challenge of having a stutter from their point of view. And the recruiter was very impressed by all of that. I would say even more so impressed by that than my job history, which is very surprising. So the next day, I talked with her boss, and he went in and reached the client about me, and told him about my experience and my job history, and he also talked about my stutter, my blog, my videos, and everything else that I was doing totally outside of my job experience. And he said that the client was very intrigued, impressed, and excited to speak with me. And what he also said is that, Derek, actually the stutter, it turned out to be a positive. It's actually an asset. Now, that's the last thing I expected to hear. I've been on job interviews where I've been told that the stutter is a non-issue. It doesn't matter as long as you can do the job. It's not an issue. But I had never had anybody to tell me that it's an asset. So of course that sparked a whole thought process that leads me back to the points that I made at the beginning. So the first point is that you can take a frustration, a burden, a liability in your life and turn it into an asset. It's all about the story you tell yourself about it and how you frame it. That can make all the difference. Whether it's a stutter, it's some financial difficulty, it's some adversity in getting your education, finding a job, with a lack of resources, whatever it is, you can turn that adversity and that liability into an asset if you just change how you talk to yourself about it and how you look at it and how you use it. Now, that affects how you impact people and the world around you. So when that guy was telling me that my stutter is an asset, he wasn't talking about me. That what he was saying is that is that my stutter turned into an asset for him and potentially for that client. Now, the coworker that I was talking about earlier, she would always tell me that my stutter is not really about me. Now, when she would tell me this, I wouldn't show it, but that didn't sit well with me. If my stutter is not about me, then who in the hell is it about? How can you tell me some shit like something that I'm burned with is not about me? Of course it is. But now as I'm older and have some more insight, I see your point. How I deal with adversity in my life, how you deal with adversity in your life impacts others, even when we don't see it. So whether it's something that is temporary and that can be mitigated with some hard work and some action, or something that is permanent and that you have no control over, just consider that the reaction that you get from the world and people around you could simply be a mirror for how you react to yourself and your own situation. So with that, I encourage you to take a look at the adversity in your life and try to see just past the discomfort and the struggle of that situation and look at how it can be turned into an asset, not just for you, but for others. How can other people use your difficulty and your hardship to gain inspiration and encouragement for their own lives?